Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take another look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on, of course, here on a weekend. It is Sundays, not a lot of volatility, but there are some little things that we might want to kind of pick up and kind of see what's going on, of course. Now, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I love teaching people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. My goal, my passion is to help you become a better trader. So if you want that for yourself, feel free to join my trading community. I actually have a community academy as well to teach you how to become a trader, pretty much telling you everything I know, as well as the fact that I have signals that I send out for every single trade that I take so you can learn how to structure your trades effectively in the markets that we're in. It's always changing, always dynamic, and it's you never want to do the same thing twice, but you also want to make sure that you confirm and have strong confirmation before you take signals, and those are things that I pretty much like to do myself. Very thorough in that sense. So let's take a look here at Bitcoin. And again, happy Sunday to you. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend with you and your family and relaxing appropriately. Now, here with Bitcoin, normally I like to kind of start with the monthly and work our way down. We've done that a bunch, so I'm sorry if you're new to the channel. I'll cover that again pretty much every single day. I don't see a real point in doing that since we just did that yesterday. There's not a lot of macro changes, but we're still in a bearish climate. We haven't broken above this descending trend line that's concurrent with a 50-day simple moving average on the daily, and that is essentially something that we need to get back up above. Between now and then, we want to probably focus more so on the smaller time frames and kind of identify if there's any potential shift in momentum here to kind of address what may or may not happen tomorrow. Now, if I'm not mistaken, next week is a Fed meeting, so keep in mind there could be some volatility. But between now and then, be extra careful and try not to take large positions. That's kind of the simple way of doing it. We're taking leverage positions as a community and being safe about it in that sense. And what I mean is just using very small position sizes to ensure if, heaven forbid, you don't hit your targets, you can still maintain the trade and eventually get your return. All right. Different theories, but the way that this, the way that we're trading right now with Bitcoin, you want to kind of have a safer, more conservative approach. All right. That being said, let's take a look at some of the standard stuff and work our way down. We are below 50 on the RSI on the daily, always notoriously a bad sign, or just in general. We've been under that for some time, back since April 6th, which is roughly a week after we hit our highest point of 48,000. So ever since then, we've seen the price continue to progress lower and essentially maintain this descending type of pattern. All right, so just keep that in mind. That's kind of where we're at there. Being under 50 on the RSI is disadvantageous until we get back above that and or the 50-day SMA. I don't really think that we have any potential for a strong push to the upside. Obviously, it has to start with a strong push to break through those channels, but if we just average for another week or two at the same exact price point, we'll almost inevitably be back up above that. All right, so again, we'll see a retest of this trend line soon, and that's going to be something I'm excited to see, and hopefully we get a break above and we close above on the daily, maybe at least 2 or 3 days in a row. That would be ultimately what we're looking for, because if you see here, we got stopped out right here at 31,800, and the RSI was stuck at 50 the entire time. So basically it's like, nope, we're not going to let you get back up above that level. That is a key level resistance, and you're not going to pass. Thou shall not pass, right? That's essentially what happened. So taking a look here at the 4-hour, we can kind of see that the moving averages are averaging themselves out. But the 200 here, of course, which oftentimes runs concurrent with the 50-day SMA on the daily, they're again very similar time frames, we can see here that the price got rejected at that point. So the key here, of course, is for us to be able to see a break above on the 4-hour to effectively be able to continue to progress higher and not have that resistance level. So it'd be nice to be back up above all three moving averages. For right now, not in dire straits by any means, but it's just kind of standard weekend material. Very, very low volume, and low volume breeds weird results. It's kind of always a little strange in that sense. So at this point, we can anticipate everything kind of just going sideways for a little bit longer, but possibly even higher too if we look at the smaller time frames, and that's what we're going to look at next. But we are still under 50 on the RSI here at this point. That would also be a key indicator, is to break above 50 on the RSI and have that continuation of the upside, because for the most part, when we go above 50 on the RSI, it usually stays above. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That again, this is last weekend, last Monday I think it was, where we saw the price increase. And then of course on Wednesday the price came back down. So we could very well experience a very similar scenario. And the key here is that our next high needs to be higher than basically just say 32,000. Safe approximate close at 32,000 or higher on the daily, and I think we're going to be in pretty good shape to see this descending pattern broken. Again, We'll bridge that gap when we get there, but that's what we're looking for. We don't see that yet, and that's kind of what what we should expect. We do have a MACD convergence here, of course. Keep this in mind. This is not a strong convergence. It is actually pretty weak, considering the fact that there's been just a lot of price at this exact level. Okay, so again, with condensed price action, so to speak, low volume, these are going to respond quicker and effectively give us a signal to potentially buy when we may not need to. Now, again, you never want to take an entry based on the MACD convergence alone, but typically speaking, when the price does shift upside here, in other words, the oscillators are indicating that the bulls have control of that time frame, and this convergence essentially that occurs, it's typically a positive sign. So, generally speaking, a MACD convergence in the 4-hour is a very, very good thing that I like to look for, and we want to confirm that it's also running concurrent with the 1-hour Ichimoku cloud. Why don't we take a look at that now here? I'm willing to guess that we're testing the cloud and or just broke above. There we are. Okay, yeah, we're peaking above. We retested the cloud here, as you can see an hour ago. The price shot up, got rejected, and this current candle, which is only about 30 minutes in, is trying to break above and stay above. So we're breaching 30,000 right now, and at this point, if we can close and maintain another couple of hours above the cloud, then we're going to be in pretty good shape to be able to see probably a continuation, either A, to the upside or at least sideways, to continue to make these higher lows. All right, so I know it's kind of a stretch because once again, the smaller the time frame, the less reliable the patterns become. But of course, higher lows is a very beneficial thing here, and especially the fact that we broke through this little resistance type of channel, because we could see the price got stuck at about 29,800 for some time. We're above that now, effectively kind of signaling a bit of a breakout. Again, more so just telling us that the bulls are in control more so than the bears, and there's less selling pressure than there is buying pressure. And that's essentially a good sign, because again, that's why when you hit these resistance levels multiple times, you get this case in point where they eventually give up. All right, you keep pushing, it's gonna get through there. All right, so again, very good stuff here from Bitcoin. I like what I see here so far. The smaller time frames do look much better than the larger, right? So micro is winning where macro is potentially losing. Again, we need a lot more of this to be able to get anywhere close to where we want. But this is a great start. Definitely looking good here. So I'd say pay attention to the price. If we can get a closure above 30,000 for the next 2 or 3 hours, that should give us confirmation that we're above the cloud. We have a 4-hour MACD convergence telling us the price could and should continue higher. Just bear in mind, this is a weekend, okay? Profits are taken Sunday nights in most cases because the Eastern market, the Eastern hemisphere essentially, is trading, and it can change things. Now they could very well want to just keep buying and buying and buying. There's a chance of that too. And this continuation pattern should continue, of course, but there's always that caveat of where we're at in the trading week. So again, I like to say exercise caution on the weekends. Perfectly fine if you take a position, just don't expect a lot and take smaller position sizes to ensure that you don't get you don't get stopped out inaccurately or just prematurely, and give it time to grow. Because at this point here, Bitcoin is starting to build a base. It's starting to build a foundation. Even though we want, or sorry, not want, well, kind of want. I do kind of want a smaller price point from Bitcoin, because obviously I want to add to my position. That's a different story altogether, but what I'm getting at is with Bitcoin, it's important to understand that 30,000 is still an established good value. All right, in the big picture, I mean, think about it. If you got in 5 years ago, you would be so happy that you got in at the highest point. All right, now granted, 70,000, perhaps if you got in at that point, that's a bummer for the moment. I can assure you though, 4, 5, 10 years down the road, you're gonna be happy that you did it. All right, so continue dollar cost average whenever possible is all I'm asking. Make sure you add to your position so you can essentially have something decent to retire with perhaps eventually. So all in all, looking good here from Bitcoin. I don't see anything that I really dislike. We've been able to maintain this nice trend here at about 30,000 over the weekend, or 29.8, 30,000, and I do feel as if we can get a closure above 32,000 in the near future. That would obviously be a good signal to kind of tell us that we're on the right path. Between now and then, just be cautious and careful and know that the micro is telling us it wants to go up. We have a lot of buy signals there, but just keep in mind that is very tentative. That could only last another 12 to 24 hours. We very well might see a sell-off on Monday, but keep this in mind. There's not a lot to sell off. I mean, look at this here on Friday. Friday was a profit-taking day, big surprise. Yes, we've seen a couple of green days here, but how much more profits can be taken? There's not much of a profit margin there if you think about it. So generally speaking, with the fact that this weekend's been kind of very slow moving, could imply that we might see a nice solid start to the week, right? Because again, slow weekends do typically breed pushes and pushes to the upside on Mondays. So I'm willing to speculate at this point, with the volume being so low, that with an increased volume, we'll probably see that continuation of the convergence, divergence on the 4-hour, and possibly even stay above the cloud for some time. So really good stuff here. Ultimately, I like it. All right, so those are my 2 cents. Feel free to comment below if you have any questions or concern. Reach out to me direct. All my contact information is down below as well. Website also, if you'd like to become and register for becoming a better trader here, of course. Look forward to working with you. We like, actually, it's really cool actually. We have these weekly roundtable discussions where we talk about pretty much everything crypto and just look at charts and just have a really good time. And all those learning experiences we have together as a community kind of just helps build confidence and know that you're not alone, right? Because it sucks. It feels like you're just totally alone in these big picture situations here. And it's unfortunate and terrible to kind of have that. So again, that camaraderie that we got, it's really, really cool thing. So I just want to say thank you again to my current community members, making it just an awesome experience. Thanks again for that. All right, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.